Hello everyone, I'm Jay and this is the Camden Stitch. Welcome back to the yellow chair. I am very pleased to see you here and I'd like to say hello to all my new subscribers. I just want to reassure you that this is a garment sewing vlog and it's going to stay a garment sewing vlog. But for anybody who's interested in seeing my quilt that I just paper pieced, then this vlog is going to be about that. If you're not interested in that, then I shall pop a little link up to my latest garment sewing video. This is a really quick vlog to tell you about my first ever quilt that I English paper pieced. I started it about 8 months ago and I first got into it because I saw a vlog on the Stitch Sisters channel. Nikki from the Stitch Sisters does English paper piecing, and the nice thing about it is it's quite small and you can take it with you anywhere. It's a bit like having a knitting project on the go. So obviously sometimes you're not in a place where you can sit and sew clothes, you don't have your machine with you or whatever. But if you're anything like me, I still like to be making something in the evening and I like to keep my hands busy. I do knit in the winter, although I can only knit scarves. I just knit really for the kind of repetitive motion. I'm not really into sort of making anything. I think the way I feel about my quilting and my knitting is that I have all my headspace is in garment sewing, and that's what I'm interested in, and I want to learn new skills in that area. And for my quilting, I just want to do something that doesn't require any thought, that I don't have to watch loads of vlogs to find out what to do. I don't have to read loads of books or follow patterns or anything. I just sit and do it, and then it comes together. And that is pretty much what happened with this. I decided on the design from a photograph that I saw on Instagram, but I didn't use a pattern of any kind. I just decided what I wanted it to look like, worked out how to do that and made it up myself. So I'll post a picture now of the finished quilt. It was very simple. It was just a matter of, once I decided on the blocks, I decided that the blocks would be like 5-inch squares with 2-inch squares, and then some, I think they're called log cabin pieces, but they're basically like brick shapes. I bought some heavyweight paper and I measured out the pieces I used Word actually on my computer. So I made some strips that were 5 inches by 2 inches or 5 inches by 5 inches. Some of them I bought on eBay. You can buy ready cut paper pieces, but some of them I couldn't get in that shape, so I just drew out a square in Word, made sure the dimensions were correct, printed it out and then cut it out using my rotary cutter. I've got a brilliant rotary cutter that's got a ruler down one side, so it's a bit like a guillotine. So cut all those, then cut fabric in the same for the same proportions but with a seam allowance around it, and then I tacked it. Now I won't go into the whole whys and wherefores of English paper piecing, but the like I said, the video from the Stitch Sisters that I watched just shows how simple it is. And once you've got the gist of taking a piece of paper, tacking the shape onto it and then sewing the shapes together, really that's all there is to it, and you've learned how to do it. And you, like I said, you don't need loads of books, you don't need loads of tutorials, you can just sit there in the evening sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing, and then you know you've got a quilt. So that's what I did. I've been doing it every night for the last, I think, about 8 months. I think I really enjoyed the stitching it together. What I was most kind of anxious about was the quilting it, because I didn't really have any interest in how to learn that, and binding it, and they were all skills that I didn't have, and I thought, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I did, and I'm very happy with it. So this is the quilt. I decided to, normally when you make a quilt you have cotton backing on it and then a layer of batting or wadding they call it, but it's like kind of loose fleecy stuff, and then your quilt top on top. But I wanted to put fleece on mine. I'm making it for Ian's mum. She lives in Scotland where it is pretty cold. I just used some batting that I'd bought for an upholstery project like a year ago. It wasn't proper quilter's batting. I didn't order the right supplies or anything. I just bought some fleece from Fabricland. I had this batting in my cupboard, and then what you do is you make a sandwich. So you put your patchwork quilt top then you put your batting, and then you put your fleece, and you have to stick it all together or baste it. Some people hand baste it, some people use safety pins, but I use glue to baste it. I am fibbing a bit when I say I didn't need to watch a lot of tutorials. I watched two tutorials, and they were both by the Missouri Star Quilt Company. I've not got that quite right, but if you search for quilting tutorials, they come up first, and it's a woman called Jenny, and they're absolutely brilliant. They tell you everything you need to know. They're very succinct, and they're very clear, and they're just great for beginners. So I saw one on how to glue baste a quilt, which is easy peasy. You spray it and stick it together, and it's as easy as that. It feels like cheating basically because it's too easy. And then the other tutorial I watched was how to bind the quilt, and I just bound it perfectly first time. No, didn't have to unpick anything. It was also straightforward how you make the binding by sewing strips together on the bias so it hides the seams better, how you mitre the corners. So you can see there's some photographs of the corners and how well they come out, and that was just so simple. Like I said, I got it right first time, and I'm really, really, really proud of myself. I'm really chuffed. So as I was saying, because of the fleece and the batting, it was quite bulky. Thankfully, I've got my new Juki sewing machine, which is big. It's got a walking foot, but I didn't use a walking foot. I didn't really know how to start quilting it. I know people can do free motion quilting, but that I wasn't really interested in doing all that. And also I think when things are very heavily quilted, they lose all their kind of bounce, and I like bouncy quilts. So I just very loosely quilted it. I just decided to stitch in the ditch quilt it, which means I just sewed down the lines that I'd already formed by the patchwork blocks. And I really did it quite appallingly. I mean, you can see there, if you look at it, it's pretty bad, but I really think nobody apart from me will ever notice that. At the end of the day, it's all been hand sewn, thousands and thousands of stitches, a lot of time and love's gone into it, and I did a bit of machine quilting that's slightly less than perfect, but the binding is beautiful. It looks so neat. It finished it off perfectly. I'm just really pleased with it. And I don't think anybody is ever going to kind of look at it and think, I think for a beginner, for my first ever quilt, I'm just really chuffed. So Ian's getting the overnight train up to Glasgow tonight. He'll give it to his mum. It's her birthday tomorrow. And hopefully she'll really, really like it. So that's all today. I just wanted to do a really, really short vlog and show you this because I'm so proud of it. If you're interested in knowing anything else about English paper piecing, then just leave a comment in my downstairs and we can have a chat about it. But I really would recommend that Stitch Sisters vlog, and I shall be filming another vlog about my sewing plans very soon. Okay, see ya, bye. Hiya, thanks for joining me. I'm Jay, and my mannequin's just fallen over.